Happy New Year, 2026. Welcome to JUCO Jam, Season 4, Episode 5. The great one, the JUCO advocate himself, Brandon Goble, is back. Brandon, Happy New Year's. Great to see you, sir.
We're back, baby.
We're
I,
back.
I missed
We
the
are
last
in.
show. Thank you for holding down the fort while I went around France eating things. I got
It was,
stuck in a
it was an
farmer's
honor.
test.
Card is the rewind. Let's go right into the rewind. It's going to be a short rewind. We had a long break, but last night, as we're recording this on a Tuesday, we had South Plains at Odessa. Boy, South Plains has a rough way to start their whack-jack schedule at Odessa, and then at Midland. Just saying, that's a tough gig. Odessa with a big 97-85 win at home. I believe they were up 19 at half. Amir Carson with 19. Jaden Reynolds with 17. The big man, Mr. Ndanky, inside with 14. And one of my favorite freshmen, big wing, Quez Williams with 12 points. Man, Odessa looks good. I think they're good at all three levels. They got the guards, they got the wings, they got the big guys. This looks like a really good bucket basketball team.
Yeah, and really there are a lot of stars on this team, but obviously I think they're going to go as Amir Carson goes. And we knew that coming into the season. He was so good this summer as well, and just really showed a lot of maturity in his game. One of the things that I think people misevaluated on him over the summer was, well, I wish he was quicker. I wish he was whatever. And I said, you know what? If he was quicker, like you ain't talking to him, right? So he is just a bulldog bully guard that is actually just a great leader. He's tough. When he's not on for whatever reason, he does the other little things to help you win. He's really bought into how Bucket plays. Bucket can coach him, and just being ready at any moment. It's been really exciting to watch him play this year, knowing especially this summer where you go, ooh, that guy's pretty that he's going to be pretty special, and then it turns out to be true. That just big physical like guard. He's great. I love watching him play.
I'd rather have the strong physical guy than the jetty quick guy too, especially when you're kind of projecting kids at the next level. I mean, you got to be strong and sturdy to stand up, and he's got to be a tough kid for 2 years under bucket ball.
And a
You know,
perfect system fit, right? Too like you do have to be a certain type of player to play in that system with Bucket, and he's the prototype. I mean, they could put a poster of him up in the locker room and say you got to be like this guy to play here. So, coaches, who- they're gonna struggle to defend him, and they're gonna struggle with just the other things that he brings to the table night in and night out.
yeah, really excited to see where this Wrangler Ball Club goes. Let's just transition to the rundown, if we shall. I've identified 10 games in no particular order, other than in which the day they appear. Wednesday, as we're recording on Tuesday, we got four pretty nice games. Shawnee at Vincennes, Moberly at Three Rivers, and we got some Jayhawk hoops. Brandon Cali at Butler, Garden City at Dodge City. What gets you the most excited about that Wednesday four pack?
I'm really pumped to continue to watch this Vincennes team come together. Dayton Williams has been phenomenal for them. I just think that there's this group at the top. You could go 15 deep and say, well, I wouldn't be shocked if this team made a run to a national title. But you've got that little group at the top of teams where it's just like, man, how far are these guys going to go with the success they're having right now? Are we going to have just like this, four or five teams of superpowers this year that keep on that run? And Vincennes is, as good as we've seen them. So yeah.
And it's a different type of Vincennes team a little bit. If you would have asked me before the season, I would have said this is probably going to be one of Coach Franklin's better scoring teams. I don't know that how good they're going to be defensively. Boy, was I wrong on that because this like statistically is one of Coach Franklin's best defensive teams. And they have a young man, Prince Ajokwu, number 22. He was a transfer from Kopaya Lin. I think they say Kolin, but he just chops those feet and like people don't go north south on him at all. Like if you just want a defensive stopper, kind of reminds me of a shorter version of Ring Malith. I remember when Ring was at Barton, like he just didn't give up points. Like it wasn't really an option. He was just going to lock somebody down. Prince, pretty cool defender. All right, Brandon, let's transition to Thursday. I got two good ones for you here. Take this anywhere you'd like to go. South Plains at Midland, and then Utah State Eastern at Snow. I believe Eastern is 13 and 2 in junior college games this year. This could be a sturdy test for our Badger boys.
Hey, Utah State's beaten some squads this year. Bill Evans has got them coached up. This is going to be a tough one, always a difficult in-state rivalry there. Andrew May has another team built for a national championship run, and so it's that like those rivalry games are always tough. We see that at the Division 1 level. Even when one team is historically maybe better than the other, when that ball goes up in that one, all bets are off. Great opportunity for South Plains to have a bounce back, huge, critical win if they can pull it off. But Midland's going to be ready. I mean, they're an arguably the number 1 team in the country. There's a few teams that can lay claim to that. Midland being one of them right now, and so trying to hold serve at home will be big for them.
Some like ranking these top 16 teams, it just feels wrong. It's like
It's
we
all
know
over the place.
the difference between number one and number 16 is
As you
so
get past
small.
about four, and even then within the first four, it's like, which flavor do you like, right? Like it's
Yeah. And if you did a 7 game series, I think a lot of them would be like 4-3. Like I think they're really, really close. All right, Brandon, we you teased up like the rivalries. Saturday, we got one of the granddaddies of them all. 4 games on Saturday, we're going to talk about Northwest Florida, Tallahassee, Independence, Cali, Walters State at Columbia State, Indian Hills at Southeastern. Southeastern might be a little down. Indian Hills, I think, is playing really well right now. I think they're going to be one of the teams that really takes a big leap in the second half. But that's just a cool rivalry that'll take place in West Burlington. Just nostalgia. But where do you want to start on Saturday? What's getting you excited?
the reemergence of Tallahassee has been great to see. It's a great program. It's got a great history. The fact that they're back, competing at the top there is awesome to see. Northwest Florida is playing great basketball. I'm actually really excited about this Walter State at Columbia State game. Columbia State is a tough out on any given night, especially when they're at home. So, big opportunity there for Walter State. And yeah, the Indian Hills Southeastern game is just pure nostalgic fun no matter what. And like we said with rivalry games, it really doesn't matter who's doing what that specific moment of the season. Everything is off the board when it comes to a rivalry game like that.
So over the last couple of weeks since our last show, there hasn't been a lot of junior college basketball to watch. So I had to go back to the film room.
Hmm.
And every once in a while, Brandon, a player comes across the board that just not only just catches your eye, almost takes a piece of your heart. Kind of, I think, how we both fell when we saw Buddy Hammer for the first time a couple years back. I got a name for you.
Okay.
Tyrese Stovall at
Mhm.
Walter State. 6'8", bouncy. The Coach Nichols player comp is Derek Lively. I love this kid. I think he's great. He checks all the boxes for me. In all fairness, I haven't seen him shoot a lot of free throws, but I'm really excited to watch Walter State, Columbia State. I think Coach Winston Neal does a great job at Columbia State. Tennessee just doesn't get the love it deserves. I think it's the best officiated league in junior college basketball. How about that?
Yeah.
Um, Columbia State got drilled this past weekend by Vincennes, 69-38. Columbia State playing Vincennes and Walter State back to back. That's a tough deal. But I think sometimes when you play a team like Vincennes, that just gets you kind of battle tested and more prepared for Walter State. Walter State has a couple big 6'10" guys inside. Stovall versus the bigs of Columbia State. I'm excited to see some good big on big basketball. So tune in for that, Brandon. You're going to love Tyrese Stovall.
I'm in.
When we return, we're going to have Coach Lane Blue with Gulf Coast in the spotlight.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are honored to be joined by Coach Lane Blue at Gulf Coast, one of the hot young coaches in all of basketball, one of the great teams of this season, 16-1, off a 23-10 campaign last year. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on JUCO Jam. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are no stranger to JUCO Jam. You appeared last season. We got the rookie jinx out of the way. Now we can just get on to getting to Hutch and doing good things. You guys have been off to an amazing start, 16-1. What has surprised you most about this team?
I would probably say our young guys contributing. We've got a lot of freshmen that I thought when we signed them were quality players for sure, but sometimes coming into college it's a little different game, and so we've had some freshmen that have really stepped up and been really good for us, which has been a nice, pleasant surprise for sure.
I'm glad you mentioned your freshman. I know Trent Lincoln is going to be up for National Player of the Year and is being recruited everywhere. You guys have two of my favorite freshmen. Talk a little bit about your 6'7" forward, Mr. Francis, almost a double-double machine, just under 10 points a game, 9 boards. And then Travion, is it Coke or Cook?
Cook.
Cook, your guard.
Yep, Trayvon
I love
Cook.
him. Very bouncy, 6'2", averaging almost 13 a game, 52% from three. I know he's not a high volume guy, but extremely efficient. If you would just give those two guys a little bit of love.
Yeah, Iron, it was kind of crazy. Just got a random phone call from his dad one day that he had known a mutual contact and just called me and said, "Hey, I've got a son that's 6'7" and really athletic, trying to find a spot to play." And so I said, "Hey, send me some film. I'd love to take a look at him." Hadn't watched him play in high school at all, and he sent me some film, and we got him over here like within the next week. He played with our guys and offered him. I think he ended up having one other JUCO offer to a school in East Texas, and everybody in Florida kind of passed on him. But he's been a great kid, super coachable. He's athletic, plays with a great motor, and then I think his willingness to be coached has allowed him to really take off. So been a really good piece for us this year for sure. Been starting him and Alpha together, which Brandon knows was in his event this summer. So we've been starting kind of a two big lineup with guys that can move and play on the perimeter a little bit as well.
So close to getting to Hutch last year. What's it going to take this year from this group to get over the hump, get the Commodores back to Hutchinson, Kansas?
I think like any conference, toughness. I mean, I know that sounds cliche, but all these teams are pretty even. I don't see anybody that's super dominant. I think this is as most balanced the league has been since I've been here. And so I think toughness, man, all these games are going to come down to one or two possessions. And unfortunately, last year we're one play away from winning the region title, and rips your heart out, but lets you know what you've got to work on and what we've got to do to get back. And so hopefully we can do that this year. We've had some quality practices over the last few weeks.
One of the things that I like most about you is that you're a JUCO guy through and through. You got roots back to your days at Three Rivers, played under Hall of Fame coach Gene Bess, and been a lot of different places. Assistant coach with Donnie Tyndall at Chipola. You play the zone. You play the Donnie Tyndall style zone. I'm sure there's differences and nuances to it. Were you always a zone guy?
Actually, growing up, we played zone my whole life. In high school, we zone press back to a half court zone matchup. It was a little different, how we guarded things. And then when I got to Three Rivers, we played all man and hard hedged every ball screen and learned that stuff. And then with AK, he switched zone and man, played both. Kermit played zone and man. Tim Ryan played zone and man, and then Donnie was almost exclusive zone. So I think, at Chipola, I think we went like 58-10 and had a lot of success. Obviously, DT does a great job and the players were good, but when you see it work and have success with it, you believe in it. And so I've sold out to it, and honestly, I haven't changed anything. We're doing it the exact way that we did it there. We've changed maybe some pick and roll coverages here and there, but I don't think he messed with success. I think it's been really good, and I think it's really good at this level in particular.
Yes. As far as I have ever known, Gene Best never played zone at Three Rivers. So I knew your time at Three Rivers was predominantly man to man, at least.
Yep.
Now, do you think it's an advantage or a disadvantage of having these two zone teams in the panhandle? Is there like a sequence that's like, man, I like playing teams right after they played Chipola. So they're like in this crazy 1-3-1 zone headspace and they can't even like walk and chew gum at the same time now? Or do you like to get them before Chipola? Like, how does that kind of work out in the real world?
I like after, but I mean, you can usually bet on it no matter if it's conference play or non-con. Like if Chipola plays them before, or if we play them before, if a team has success running a certain action or whatever it may be schematic wise, that they're going to do it in the next game. And so, same like we play Northwest and they cut us up on something, Tally's probably going to put it in, so I don't know. Obviously, it's has pros and cons for sure, but um, I'm not sure to be honest.
I didn't know if there was like a sequence that you like to see. All right, now here's a hard hitting question for you. Brandon's got one coming up. You're a great follow on social media. Your wife posts a lot of stuff. Former basketball player, I know. SEMO, U of E. Done my research here. You got really cute kids. Your daughter, a lot of times dressed in the cheerleading outfits. A great ambassador for Gulf Coast basketball. There was a game. All the guys coming off the court gave your daughter a high five, little fist bump, but there was one guy who snubbed her. Has there been repercussions? Was that an incident that got brought up? How was that handled?
Hey, it's an emotional sport, and I'm not always the nicest guy in the world, so I understand sometimes they're ready to get to the locker room and get away from me. But no, I don't hold any grudges. Most of them now, I'll give her high fives. I know that last year we had that happen once too, but the team will get a hold of the guys before I do.
And your daughter pretty resilient, pretty thick skin, has handled the snub well.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure, for sure. No,
We'll
she's been
probably have
good.
to see if we can get her on a future JUCO Jam. But yeah, like that was heartbreaking to me to see her get snubbed. She put her little paw out there for the high five. Nothing. Nothing. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this is gonna be a tough practice tomorrow. Somebody made a bad choice.
no doubt, no doubt.
All right. That was my hard question. Brandon, what do you got?
I mean, Lane's been on here before, but you never know. Like it's been a while, right? There's been some time to mature as a second
Evolve.
year coach, evolve, right? We have our tastes evolve over time. So, coach, obviously the panhandle is loaded, loaded. All of Florida is loaded, loaded this year. You get that big road win and you say, gosh dang it, guys, you know what? We've been working hard. Everybody dabbed up my daughter this week, so I'm going to give you a treat. We're going to go to Chili's. You pull into that parking lot. What are you having at Chili's, coach?
I actually just had it after our last win, so on New Year's Eve. So now I like they've got a new dip trio. It's got guac, salsa, and a queso. So start with that. Consume about 3,000 calories of that. Get a drink, and then I either
I'm
go
made
with
of cheese now.
the what'd you say?
I'm made of cheese now.
Yeah, no doubt. I either get the chicken bacon ranch quesadillas or I just
Mm.
get the chicken fajitas. And so that's been kind of my go-to lately.
Gotta be careful with those fajitas, man. They're sizzling hot. They'll get you.
The chips are fire. We actually had we had a Mexican Christmas dinner at my house. I made fajitas at home, but we got the dip trio the night before Chili's closed on Christmas Eve and had the chips and dip for Christmas. So it was good.
Go. I like it. I like it. Well, coach, we appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to the second half of the season here. Big run through Florida coming up. So when we come back, we will get into the grind.
For the last 87 years, the NJCAA has provided academic and athletic opportunities to thousands of student athletes. However, several rules make it more challenging for two-year college transfers. Recently, 16 national coaches associations, led by the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association, sent a request for change to NCAA leadership to make the rules the same for all transfers. We commend their leadership and stand together in support of same game, same rules.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are now going to transition to the grind, where we highlight a junior college player doing great things. This week, we're going to talk about Kareem El-Jazawi from Laramie County, 14 points a game on 41% from three, 78% free throw shooter, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per game. He's a 6'4" guard from Egypt. Brandon, you get a lot of calls and questions about him. Tell the world about Kareem.
Yeah, he's just a great like junior college story. He's got this really interesting, diverse background. Came from Egypt, played for in the system of a big, the biggest club in Egypt over there, and then played in the BAL, the Basketball Africa League, during his post grad season. So that was super cool to get to watch him do that. I'd had experience working with the BAL, went and scouted their camp in Paris, done some other things with them. Like there's some hoopers in that league. It's something that the NBA has really supported over there. So he was playing against grown men, came over here to Division One, was definitely put in an unenviable position, I would say as a freshman, but said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go the junior college route, kind of hit the reset button. And so I think that really was was it was interesting because it wasn't something he was familiar with at all. But the idea that you could kind of reset everything was just super interesting to him, and he's really taken advantage of it. He's an incredibly smart kid. He can play the one, the two, the three. He's big, strong, incredibly smart. So yeah, my phone's been blowing up about him from both high academic schools, non-high academic schools, just kind of everybody that's looking for that like, anchor point at the guard position that you can play with just about anybody. So, really, really, really great kid, really deserving of the recognition he's been getting from these Division One schools. I think he's going to have a great career.
That's awesome. All right, let's transition to the show. One of our favorite legacy junior college basketball players, Isaac Garrett, was at Snow last year, 6'8", 219-pound junior, currently at Oakland, averaging roughly 16 and 7, 82% free throw shooter. I believe his last game out, he was 16 for 16, just how Coach May teaches them. If they're not making them, it's not on Coach May. They're not listening. But this kid is just blowing up. Great future ahead of him, and it's great present. So talk about Isaac and the things that he's doing.
Yeah, I mean he's done such a good job there. They've done such a good job with him. Coach Jeff Smith does an incredible job recruiting junior college. I talk to that guy probably once a week, and in between games he is off, turning over rocks, trying to find players. He's a true JUCO guy. And just loves it. And so, going and getting Isaac was a big deal. There was a lot of big teams that were talking to him, Florida State, teams like that had offered him, but he made a really smart choice in going somewhere that really needed him to be good and would give him the opportunity. And so he's taken full advantage of that. He's super tough. He's a wonderful kid to talk to. He had 30 the other night. I think he had 27 the game before that. And the Oakland is one of those teams that, they got to go play some of those bye games. They're playing against the Michigans and, stuff like that of the world. And in those non-conference games against those huge teams, he had huge games, right? So it wasn't just that like, okay, he got to conference play, and so he's been phenomenal all season. And the thing about him too is if he has a down game, which is rare, he's just completely locked in for the bounce back. There's no holdover from having a bad day. He's just on to the next one and ready to kick butt.
Is it safe to say that he'll have some tough decisions and a lot of options to make after this season?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about him though is that he really recognizes like what he needs to do to get to where he wants to get to. And all of that starts with you got to be the guy, right? Where you go and you've really got to be able to show what you can do. And so, for some kids, the choices um, are more financial than they are fit and all that sort of stuff. He's more to the fit side of things. And so, we'll see what happens with him going forward. But I wouldn't be shocked to see him back at Oakland either and say, look, I'm going to win. But, that's what I'm shooting for tournaments and, all that sort of thing, and have him be a name that's in lights rather than just a piece of something.
I love it. That's Isaac Garrett and the show. Stay with us. When we return, we'll have our closing thoughts that we call the sixth man.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are now in the sixth man. Some closing thoughts. Brandon, what do you have for the audience?
Yeah, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Miles Thompson. Unfortunately, suffered a season-ending injury. Miles is a former junior college national champion with Barton. He helped lead SIUE to the NCAA tournament for the first time, and was having a great season. Unfortunately, went down for the rest of the year, but we know he'll be back and fighting. Just an awesome kid, awesome family. Really, what junior college is all about. And so, thoughts out to him. And I know we'll be seeing him back and locked in next season.
Absolutely. What a great kid, great family. All right, Brandon, I have a rule proposal for you. I want to get your thoughts on this. This is inspired by I've watched a lot of Jayhawk basketball, particularly this season. There are fouls at an unfathomable rate going on in the Jayhawk Conference. In fact, one game that did not go to overtime lasted right at 3 hours. So here's my proposal to you.
Mm-hmm.
We all know it's the seventh foul, you go to the one-on-one, right? The foul 10, you get the double bonus.
Mm-hmm.
On the 13th foul, we get 3 free throws. 3. Because they're so handsy. They are so handsy in the Jayhawk, they cannot stop from fouling. Heaven forbid you reach 16, you get 3, and you get the ball side out or underneath the hoop. Team choice.
There's just some severe punitive measures that Coach Nielsen is bringing to the table here.
A 3-hour no overtime regular season game is I mean, there's games where there's like 80 free throws happening.
I will say that that sounds like a ref problem.
Well, there's coaches too that say like, in the past, the coaches have complained about they only call fouls in the first half, and then by the second half, the refs are so tired of calling the fouls with these teams that press and trap and stuff like that. They wear the refs out in the first half because they know the refs can't possibly continue to call fouls in the second half. Then
they don't
it just
even have any
gets
spit
real
left
handsy.
to blow their whistle. There's no spit left.
So they're blowing the whistle now in the second half.
Yeah, we probably need to have some sort of conference at Chili's in Hutchinson where everybody comes, all the coaches, all the refs, and we talk about this in a big group. Everybody gets a triple dipper, and we just share a bunch of
Full airing of grievances.
yeah, full airing of grievances. Why not?
We all love basketball, but like let's show the officials our hands, right? Let's show them our hands. Hands up. Let's keep the hands on the dippers. Let's keep the hands off of the opposition. Just wanted to run it by you. One final note. I talked to the manager at my local Chili's. I went there this week
Mhm.
and I said, hey, I got a lot of coaches saying, I want to do Chili's. I'm trying to make healthier decisions. I still want to have a little crisper in my life, but I can't go full triple dipper, watching the carbs a little bit. Here's
Yeah.
what I got for you, Brandon. They got that fajita quesadilla explosion salad. So you get a little bit of that crispy cheese quesadilla, but then you get the salad.
Yeah.
You can
Which is
get the salad grilled chicken, which is a nice choice, but you can get that with the crispers. They'll toss it in the honey chipotle for you. So a couple of
so
ways to go. You want
500
just a little
calorie
bit of
salad.
crisper. You want a
Yeah.
little crisper with your salad, small quesadilla, hit that fajita quesadilla explosion salad. So that's what I got for you this week. Brandon, had a great time with you as always. Glad that junior college basketball is back in full swing. We're in
We're back,
conference
baby.
play. Life is good. I hope everybody has a great basketball weekend, and we'll see you here same time next week.